Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Sunday, April the 28th is race number 7 at Lone Star Park. It's the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. We're kicking off a $100,000 guaranteed late 50-cent pick 4 with this race. And remember, if you bet with DRFBets, you have your money back promo by betting the race of the day. Bet $7 to win on any horse in any race of the day this month. And if your horse runs second or third, you get your money back. Let's take a look at the field for Sunday's race of the day, presented by Lone Star Park. We're going a mile, and you can access free Formulator past performances on the race of the day event page at DRF.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning with our morning line favorite, Matt, the number 1 Title Ready, who just missed last time out in the Stymie. And while he does have figs that say he's the main contender and deserving favorite in this race, I'm not sure I trust him completely.
No, that's the way that I looked at him too, Dan. You know, like you say, he has all the numbers that would make him a prime contender in here, and he deserves to be considered. I just don't know how short a price I want on a horse that I don't know if he necessarily has the will to win at this kind of level. You brought up that Stymie most recently. Looked like he was going to just roll over the top of Vino Rosso, and somehow Vino Rosso came back on him. Vino Rosso then did not flatter the form of that race in his next start, albeit against much tougher. And you just take a look at the career record for this horse. 3 for 16 lifetime with 7 minor awards. He can win this race, certainly, but I just don't think I would want 5-2 on him.
The number 2 is G's Turn. This horse has won at Lone Star at this distance. The recent form, however, just a little bit spotty, and his buyers are light. He's going to have to really improve in order to take down this tougher bunch.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of tactical ability. I suppose that's a feather in his cap. But really, when you look at it, just from a numbers standpoint, it looks like he's up against it.
I think the 3 Fat Man is cycling into this race the right way and is a long shot worth considering for trainer Joe Sharp. He's got a little bit of back class. He was a stakes winner as a 3-year-old. And last time out off a short layoff over a sloppy track, he ran a solid enough 4th with an 88 Beyer speed figure. He's already popped a couple of Beyers over the winter over 90. A little bit of tactical speed for Fat Man. He's a horse I'd consider using somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a horse like Title Ready, we'll just use his as the example because we've already spoken about him. They're not that far off as far as figures are concerned. They're both right in the same sort of ballpark, and at the price that you're likely to get on Fat Man as opposed to Title Ready, I would much rather take a chance with Fat Man.
The horse with the best last Beyer speed figure is right next door. That's the number 4 King Abner, who popped a 100 Beyer in the Tisnow Stakes versus Calbreds last time out. Now, this horse has just been a different animal since going 2 turns on the dirt for trainer Phil D'Amato. I wonder if Tyler Bays had to do it again last time, if he would have conceded the lead in the rail to Edwards going left, because he looked like he outbroke that horse, but decided to take him to the outside to prompt. He ran well that day, but Edwards going left to me was never really a miler. He was more of a sprinter. I thought King Abner had every chance to beat him that day.
Yeah, and that's why I left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I liked him that day, and it was just one of those situations where I'm looking at it saying, Edwards going left doesn't really want to go this far. You are proven at this mile distance, and he still couldn't go and get the job done. That, to me, is a sign that maybe he's not quite ready for this type of level. Keep in mind, that was a Calbred race. He can run well. I respect him. I like him, but I just don't like him here.
The number 5 is Analyze This Jet, who is hoping to repeat that turf-to-dirt move that resulted in his most recent victory back in October at Remington Park. Now, his race 2 starts back was his first race off a 3-month layoff. Maybe we can be a little bit forgiving, but he was 7-5 that day, and he was losing significant ground in the stretch. He's another one of these sort of local horses that needs to improve on a figure perspective.
Yeah, likely to be forwardly placed, so that's something that he has going for him. But again, he's another one that, like you said, it's just a situation where he's hard to recommend based on the figures that he's run recently.
I wonder if D'Amato has Airstrike flying under the radar in this spot. He's 10-1 on the morning line, and he's making his 2nd start of the year. And as a lightly raced 4-year-old, it's possible we haven't seen his best race. He was even in the San Antonio 2 starts back, a very tough spot considering the competition. I was a little disappointed in his race last time out. First time blinkers, we didn't see increased early speed, but again, 2nd off the layoff, and D'Amato wouldn't ship here unless he thought he had a shot.
I think this is a pretty confident move here for this horse because he is eligible for that N2X rank. He could still get through that, and the fact that they ship him here, I think that says worlds. And also, take a look and see the horses he's run against recently. 2 starts back, I'm certainly not going to hold that against him. Gift Box and Battle of Midway, and even the most recent run. I think Narrow is a talented horse for Baffert, so I think he's been keeping good enough company. The question now becomes, do you think you're going to get the 10-1? Because if you do, Boy, he really looks intriguing. I think he comes down a little bit.
Trainer Steve Asmussen won this race second off the layoff last year with B Jersey. He's going to try to repeat that move with Forever Mo's, a completely different horse than B Jersey. B Jersey liked to be up close to the pace, if not outright on the lead. Forever Mo is more of a stalker, late running type. Last time out, he caught a pretty good field at Oaklawn Park, however. That runner-up came back to get nosed in the fifth season stakes with a 93 Beyer speed figure, and I just don't think Forever Mo got a lot of pace in that race to attack. He's going to get a better pace set up in here. I just wonder if this race is a little bit too tough. He's banked over $500,000 because they found the right spots for him.
Yeah, and this is how you're supposed to campaign a horse like this. Find those sort of smaller prizes that you think you can be competitive in. The problem for Forever Mo, he really has never improved from his late 2-year-old, early 3-year-old form to where he is now as a 6-year-old. He's going to need more pace, which he's likely to get, a better situation anyway than that N3X most recently. Having said that, I still don't think he's good enough to win.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for Sunday's DRFBets race of the day. We are expecting a fast pace according to Timeform US, and we're expecting the stretch-out sprinter, the 8, Minister of Soul, to provide the pace, and I completely agree. I think that Minister of Soul, Mosito Rojo, the 4-horse King Abner, they're all going to be close to the pace. Minister of Soul, 2 starts back, comes out of the key race Bill Thomas Memorial at Sunland. That race was on dirt. His subsequent start on turf I'll throw out. He was ridden very confidently turning into the stretch, and it took a nice horse and all-out blitz to outrun him that day. He finished ahead of a couple of next-out winners, but I have to admit, I'm worried about the distance if he has to go fast early.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the question for a horse like this. 6-1 on the morning line to me seems like just a drastic underlay. I wouldn't touch him anywhere near that price. But you figure he is likely to get out there, control the fractions. If he has to go fast, how is he going to fare for that final quarter of a mile? Heck, even if he doesn't go fast, how's he going to get that extra quarter of a mile? This is uncharted territory for a horse like this. Anytime they're doing something for the first time, make sure you're going to get rewarded. 6-1 seems too light.
The 9 Mosito Rojo has a versatile running style. He can park himself right off the pace on the outside, and he is a win machine. He has won 12 of 16 dirt starts. His last 5 races have produced Beyer speed figures of 90 or better. The only knock I had against his most recent race was it seemed that day at Delta you had to be on or near the lead, and he was a pace presser. But other than that, this horse fits this race like a glove.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's another one that he doesn't have to have the lead. And with that outer draw, I think he's going to be able to go up there, let the 8-horse clear off. You think he's going to come back to you at some point. There's a scenario where Mosito Rojo gets the jump on everyone else in this field. And if that's the case, like you say, he's 13-21 lifetime. He's one that would definitely be a main contender if he takes over turning for home.
Let's take a look at our top selection for Sunday's Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. We want a price, and we want a horse that's run well previously over the Lone Star Circuit. Q, the 10, Shotgun Cowboy, who's 12-1 on the morning line. This horse has earned over $1 million already, was a graded winner at Lone Star last year, ran 3rd behind the aforementioned B Jersey in last year's Steve Sexton Mile, and we both believe he might be a little bit dirtied up coming into this race.
Yeah, and maybe we're being a little bit too kind when we're trying to make a case for a horse that is tailing off form. But the way I look at it, I don't think he's at his best when he's on a wet track. So you draw a line through each of the past 3 races. Prior to that, you have a run prior to a layoff. I'm not going to hold that against him. The run at Zia, 1.125 too far in my opinion. Then I know he won that sloppy track, but look, probably just better than that field. Look and see the odds that he was. He was 1-10 that day. And then prior to that, you had the first start off of the bench. So again, it sounds like I'm making a giant case for a horse that hasn't really run great in 7 races, but I look at it and say, if you can make those excuses, you're left with that trio of races at Lone Star last year. And I think any one of those races puts him right there at the wire. I think the outside draw, I got to be honest, I don't think it's the end of the world for him. I think he's going to be a little bit more forwardly placed. 12-1 on the line, I'd take a chance.
And I do like this rider switch to Cabrera, who has utilized this horse's speed in the past. I think he's going to let the 8 and the 9 go. I think he's going to break running and try to maybe set up shop on the outside, stalking the pace. It's not like his races at Oaklawn were horrible. They were inoffensive efforts over wet tracks, and I agree with you. I don't think he likes that wet track. If he can go back and find his best form from last year, he can win this race at a big price. Give me numbers.
10-1-6-3.
10-4-1-8 for me in the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. It is your Sunday DRFBets race of the day presented by Lone Star Park. Remember that money back guarantee. Bet the race of the day. Bet $7 to win on any horse in the race of the day. If your selection runs 2nd or 3rd, you get your money back. Promos.drf.com is where you go for all the details. Approximate post time for the Steve Sexton Mile, 4:40 Central. Good luck.